Welcome back. During the break, before we did go, the Browns took Martin Emerson, quarterback, defensive back, Mississippi State. He had some struggleness with Mississippi State in a few areas, but I think the Browns are going to use him. I said it was a good move, but I mean it was a fair move. But I think they're going to use him periodically in certain games, and because they need to give him some time to develop. With the 69th pick, the Titans took Nicholas Pettit, Freer, offensive tackle from Ohio State. And with the 70th pick, the Jaguars took Chad Muma, linebacker, Wyoming. He's going to put up some big numbers with Jacksonville. The Bears, with the 71st pick, took Velus Jones Jr., wide receiver, Tennessee. The Seahawks are on the clock. Their pick is in. And maybe we'll see a quarterback. We'll have to wait and see. Because we have not seen a quarterback come off since the first round. And this is the third time that draft has happened, that in the third NFL draft where this has happened in 30 years. But I think Andrew Berry wanted to get a cornerback that was a defensive back as well. So I think this might have been one of those times where he needed to do that. And so we shall see who the and so we're waiting for Seattle's pick to come in on the screen and for the draft to come back on the from commercials. And we will have to wait until it does come back to get the pick. But in the meantime, the Browns, hopefully with the pick 78, I think we'll see Andrew Berry be a little more aggressive with that pick. Because he wasn't too aggressive with this first one. He was aggressive with the previous one, trading up, but I really don't know. Hey, we may see him get aggressive, so we'll see. But the Seahawks, let's see if they draft a quarterback, because that's, I think, something they need after trading Russell Wilson. But they have Drew Lock, who did fairly well. He wasn't great, but he did pretty well with Denver last year. Now he's with Seattle. So and we are waiting for the draft to come back on the screen. So, and it's about to come back right now.
Want you to understand what our draft predictor is. It uses mock drafts and scouting grades and team needs to estimate the chance that any player would be available at any given time.
And we have a surprising story. And in this year's draft, there's a percentage of how many players would get drafted. 19% say Sam Hoyer, 4% Desmond Ritter, 2% Matt Corral, and 1% Malik Willis. And the question still is, when is Malik Willis going to go off the board? And let's see if it is a quarterback right now. And it's Shocking Griffin, 5th round pick by Seattle, 2015. Let's listen in.
72nd pick in the 2022 NFL Draft, the Seattle Seahawks select Abraham Lucas, tackle, Washington State.
And they select Abraham Lucas. Offensive tackle. Yeah, it's an offensive tackle. From Washington State. And he put a lot of big numbers up with Washington State last year. And he was 2019 second team all packed in the Pac-12, all in the team all Pac-12. He went up against a lot of good players, and when they played USC, he really played well when they played them. And I gotta tell you, this guy could really make it. He'll put up some big numbers with the Seahawks. And the Indianapolis Colts are now back on the clock. And they were 9-8 last season, second in the AFC South. As you know, they traded Carson Wentz and got quarterback Matt Ryan, as you know. And so Matt Ryan had 59,735 pass yards, 8th in NFL history.
With the 73rd pick in the 2022 NFL Draft, the Indianapolis Colts select Jelani Woods, tight end, Virginia.
And they have selected Jelani Woods, tight end, Virginia. He was a transfer from Oklahoma State. And he played for the Cavaliers as a grad student, and he really put up some big numbers with Virginia last year. And he was first team in all ACC, and he really put up some big numbers. And so he's going to be a good addition to the Colts. He had 44 receptions, 598 yards, 8 touchdowns in 2021 last season. And he can really run the ball down the field. He can make you pay. He can run the pocket. He can really be a good tight end for the defense for Indianapolis. So keep that in mind. The Atlanta Falcons are back on the clock, and we're waiting for their pick to come in. And we still have not seen a quarterback come off the board yet. Hopefully maybe right now we'll get one. And we do get a quarterback. Desmond Ridder, quarterback, Cincinnati. We do get one. That's, I think Atlanta was targeting him, and they wanted him, and they got him. That is a good move for the Atlanta Falcons. And he never lost a home game with Cincinnati. He's going to be a good addition to the Atlanta Falcons. And he never lost a home game, and he was a team Coast SIDA Academic All-American, first team, and he put up a lot of big numbers last year. He had a lot of. I guess he's progressive, was very aggressive at quarterback. 6'3", 211 pounds, and he is very, very aggressive. And he is it's good leadership in him, and he can really lead a team to a victory. And he can be a good team leader, and he finds open men very quickly. That can be a good challenge for any quarterback. And he really has good athleticism, and if they can really fit some of those things in him, he can really be a good addition to the Atlanta Falcons. So, and so they really, I think this was a good pick. And the Broncos have traded their pick number 75 to the Houston Texans. So that means the Houston Texans are back on the clock. And they have the 75th pick, and their pick is in. We're waiting to see what it's going to be. And they were 4-13, and they're looking to improve and have a better record this season. They were 30th in PPG and 27th in PPG allowed. And they need to really their awesome offensive line is last in run block, win rate, 27th in pass rushing and all that. And they need to really have a winning team this year. They need to really improve in a lot of areas. I think they're going to go with probably I'm going to say a tight end they're going to go with, but we'll see. So we shall see who the Texans go with in just a moment. And This is it, but Desmond Ritter by far. He can really go outside the numbers. He can really put up some big numbers. He can move outside left, middle, mid right, and outside right. He's 69%, outside left 74%, mid left, middle 65%, 67%, mid right, and outside right 56%. So his FPS average is 60%. He can really put up some big numbers for you. And I think he's going to do just that with Atlanta after a year of learning and developing. So, and we waited a long time for another quarterback to come off the board. So, and the Houston Texans are back on the clock. Their pick is in. We're waiting for it to come in. Hopefully, I think somebody's making their way to the stage right now. So, and here we go. Here, let's listen in. We're about to find out who they selected.
The Denver Broncos have traded the 75th pick to the Houston Texans. With the 75th pick in the 2022 NFL Draft, the Houston Texans select Christian Harris, linebacker, Alabama.
And the Houston Texans select Christian Harris. Linebacker, Alabama. And I thought they would take a tight end, but I think this was a good move. They need a linebacker who can really help them out. They really run the pocket. He has 79 tackles, 11.5 TFLs, and 5.5 sacks in 2021. And he really put up some big numbers with Alabama last year. He had 220 tackles, 26.0 TFLs, and 10.0 sacks in his career with Alabama. And now he's going to be playing for the Texans. I think he's going to be a great addition to the Texans. I really think he is. So this was one I think was a good trade up for Denver. But he can really move the ball. He can really get in the pocket and really score for you. And the Baltimore Ravens are back on the clock, and their pick is in. And the last pick was at 45, David Ojabo, linebacker of Michigan. We'll see who they take in just a moment. They were 8-9 last in the AFC North. They have not been to the playoffs the last few years. They have 8 picks remaining. They want to get back to the playoffs this year. But yes, Desmond Ritter, the second NFL quarterback to go off the board. And the Browns are one pick away from being back on the clock at pick 78. So after this pick at pick 77, they'll be back on it. And I think the Ravens will go with either center, quarterback, or DE, or the defensive end. I think it's going to be a center. I think so. We'll see on that one. And I really feel the Ravens need help, a lot of help in a few areas. They need just a few pieces, not very many pieces of the puzzle, but a few pieces they need. So we shall see what the Ravens pick when the draft comes back on the screen. And I think this was a good trade up for the Broncos. Texas made a good move getting Christian Harris, linebacker, Alabama. So this was, I think, one of those moves that that needed to be made in this draft this year. Well, I only have 1 minute left in this segment, so I'm going to have to go to another break and upload this video. So I'll be back with more 2022 NFL draft coverage right after this. Stay with us. More coming right up.